worrying about? Why you not wearing your fringes?
Right. I ain't gotta wear the fringes right now, brother.
Can I shave my beard sometime?
No, you can't.
Why not?
You cannot, man.
Why not?
All right?
Why not?
You can't shave your beard,
Why
man.
can't I shave it?
Obviously, it's a part of the law.
You see how you contradicting yourself? You say I
Well,
can't shave my beard because it's
listen,
part of the law.
Hey, brother.
You
hey,
gotta
brother.
wear fringes. You
Hey,
gotta
brother.
have fringes because it's part of the law.
It sounds like a contradiction, brother. But in the spirit, it's not, brother. It sounds like a contradiction, brother. But in the spirit, it's not, brother.
My brother, the law is spiritual, right?
That's right.
The law is
If
spiritual.
what you're saying is going against the law, it's not in the spirit.
That's right.
That's right.
Now, what in the self-righteous Pharisees is going on here? I want to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Chakwadash. The ones to the elder apostles of the great millstone who were well, and as always, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And I don't know what points are you guys seeking to gain from posting this footage up. You know, this was in my opinion, this was pathetic. It was petty. It's very tacky. All right, because if you really want to get real, if you want to be honest, if you want to get very technical, you ain't keeping the law. None of us are keeping the law. The scriptures say, if the Lord was to mark all of our iniquity, who shall be able to stand before him? So this is just more self-righteous Pharisee logic and behavior. This doesn't make you look good one bit. All right. That was the behavior and the attitude of them self-righteous Pharisees and Sadducees. They thought that their righteousness was according to the law. But we know that we're not justified by the deeds of the law. All right. Now, they thought that they pretty much confounded the brother, when they asked him about where his fringes was. And then he said, we didn't have to really wear the fringes. And then they asked him, all right, well, what about the beard? Can you shave your beard? And he said, no, obviously it's in the law. And they proceed to say, well, you contradicted yourself. The brother said, no, it's not really a contradiction if you're walking in the spirit. And that's what they miss. But instead, they had their rebuttal. Well, the law is spiritual. Yeah, the law is spiritual. We agree. But you're not keeping the law in the spirit. You're keeping the law according to the flesh, man. And that's the difference between an Israelite that's a Jew outwardly versus a Jew that is one inwardly. Let's get that real quick. Let's go to Romans 2. Really, this whole chapter goes, but I'm going to get straight to the point. Romans 2 and 28. And it says, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and his circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of the Most High. So you do that outward shit because you love the praise of men. All right, it's about being seen of men. But what about your heart? What about your spirit? And your fringes, your garment should really be within your mind. That's what the brother was getting to. I don't need the fringes to remind myself that I ought to conduct myself as a son of the living power. Even Yahweh Shai said, the first two commandments, loving the Lord with all thy might, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and loving thy neighbor as thyself. If you can keep these commandments and hang it on all the law, and you'll be walking accordingly. All right. A lot of these dudes are carnal as hell. Right. But it's 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. And it says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judge of all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. And let me jump from here real quick to Romans 8 and verse 4. Now, matter of fact, let me start up. Romans 8 and 1, it says, there is therefore no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushai, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. All right? And if you walking in the Spirit, them fringes are going to spiritually be in your mind. Are you going to be thinking upon obeying the Heavenly Father? You're gonna try to abstain from sin to the best of your ability, knowing that you're gonna fall short, because we all fall short of the glory, man. We all concluded under sin, and if you say otherwise, then you a lie. It says, "For the law of the Spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahushai have made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, the Most High sending His own Son in likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit." You see that? These jakes, these men on the street, asking about where your fringes is at, they still walking in the flesh. They still think it's about the outward appearance. That's how IUIC gets down. That's how ISUPK gets down. You seeing this is how Sakari also gets down. And that was how the scribes and Pharisees, that's how they got down. And the Lord called them out on their hypocrisy. So let me go back to what the elder, said. Let me bring this back.
Obviously, it's a part of the law.
You see how you contradicting yourself? You say I
Well,
can't take my because it's part
listen,
of the law.
hey, brother,
You
hey,
gotta
brother.
wear fringes. You
Hey,
gotta
brother.
have fringes because it's part of the law.
It sounds like a contradiction, brother. But in the Spirit, it's not, brother. It sounds like a contradiction, brother. But in the Spirit, it's not, brother.
My brother.
But in the Spirit is not. Now, to the wicked, that's going to be a hard saying. That's, what do you mean? That's contradicting. See, sayings like that always was a stumbling block to, unstable souls. But if you in the Spirit, you know exactly what the brother meant by that. Now, let me ask y'all, Sakari, man. When the scriptures say in Revelation, blessed is he who watcheth and keepeth his garment, is that talking about a literal garment? Are we supposed to maintain and keep on our actual garments that we wear out at the camps? Are we supposed to go to sleep in those garments? Are we supposed to take a shower in those garments? Are we supposed to step out and go get a bite to eat in those garments? I'm just saying. Blessed is he who watcheth and keepeth his garment. Let's go there real quick. Was it Revelation 16? Yeah, Revelation 16 and 15, it says, "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame." All right, what is our garment? Our garment is this knowledge, man, this wisdom that we supposed to keep upon us, that we supposed to gird ourselves with at all times. All right. Pursuant to Ephesians the 6th chapter, we have the shield of faith. We have the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the sword, which is the word. This is also our garment. And we're supposed to keep them what? Pure, clean, nothing spotted upon it. So real quick, let's go to Numbers. We're gonna go to the actual physical law. And Yahweh Shai, every time they asked Yahweh Shai something regarding the Lord would snap on them, very calmly, and he would also quote a law, but he would speak something spiritual, and it would go over their heads, man. He would convey a spiritual message when they were trying to ask about something that was literally carnal, like eating with unwashed hands, for example. These dudes are not in the spirit, man. They're sensual as hell, man. But no wonder they call themselves the Sikari. Those men were carnal. They lived by the sword like Esau. All right. Daggermen, murderers. A murderer, a organization of men that calls themselves that named themselves after a group of murderers is trying to tell you how you ain't living accordingly. This Numbers 15 and 38. It says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders of ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you use to go a whoring, that you may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your power." All right. So, this is obviously the law, and you keep it very strictly. The IUIC, one body, all these different groups. That this is usually their, go to one up themselves over the next brother, right? Well, the garment that the Lord spoke of in Revelation, is that talking about the same garment right here? And you're supposed to have fringes and a border of blue, a ribbon of blue upon it. Now, is there such thing as you having this in the spirit? Well, let's examine that. I would like to go to a scripture in the Apocrypha. Now, let's demonstrate how you can actually walk with that garment in your border of blue in the spirit. Let's go to Sirach 6. Because what is the law? The law is our wisdom in the sight of the nations. All right. The law is actually our wisdom. So let's hear what the scriptures say concerning wisdom. This is a Sirach 6, or Ecclesiasticus 6 chapter, and I'm going to start at 22. And it says, "For wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest unto many. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. And put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain." Is this telling you to, literally, put your foot into some shackles and put your neck into some literal chains? No, this is obviously giving a analogy of wisdom. All right, wear wisdom like you will bind yourself in the captivity. Be captive to wisdom. All right, rock wisdom, wear wisdom. Be bound with wisdom. That's what this is going into. It says, "Bow down thy shoulder and bear wisdom." Right, like Yahweh Shai said. He said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So you're gonna come and become a servant under Yahweh Shai. And when you become a servant to Yahweh Shai, you're gonna bear the knowledge and wisdom. that comes through the Holy Spirit. It says, and be not grieved with her bonds. Come unto her with thy whole heart, with full assurance of heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Right? Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. For at the last thou shalt find her rest. Right? Because this is our rest, man. Okay? It says that in was that Isaiah the 28th chapter, that this is the rest wherewith you may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing. But continuing on, it says, verse was I left off at 28. It says, for at the last thou shalt find her rest, and that shall be turned to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defense for thee. Is it not saying Ecclesiastes, wisdom is the defense and money is a defense? There it is. Just linking these precepts together. So lucky I'm up under the weather, but Satan is trying to attack me while I'm doing this lesson. That's what happens when when you try to serve the Lord. Satan gets to attacking, but he can't stop this. It says and her chain a robe of glory. So you see it's compared to a robe, right? For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor, and shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy. Now I want y'all to focus on verse 30 real quick. I'm going to read it again. It says, for there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. Now, what does it mean by purple lace? Well, let's go real quick, since we still in Numbers 15. Let's go to a ribbon, where it says the border's a ribbon of blue. Ribbon of blue. And it says, the Hebrew word is patayal, and it says cord. Up here it says lace. It says lace, bracelet, wire, ribbon, bound, thread, line. So obviously, now let's go out and let's look at blue. All right. And then it says the word is takalaf, and it says violet, violet thread, violet stuff or fabric, blue, covering spectrum from brilliant red through deep purple. Right? So let's go back to this real quick in Sirach 6. We dealing with wisdom here, right? It says, for there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. Or should I say a ribbon of blue, which you put at the border of your garment and where you have your fringes. So are you telling me that you can't wear a garment with a border of blue and fringes in the spirit? You can't come unto a garment with your border of blue and fringes with your whole heart. You can't wear it, in the spirit. Is that what y'all telling me? Now let's read this same precept. Let's read it in the let's read it in the SRV translation. Let's scroll down. And let's read verse 30. It says, her yoke is a golden ornament, and her bonds are a cord of blue. Border of blue, or ribbon of blue. Because I looked up ribbon and it said cord. So obviously this reference is making the correlation to the garment that we wore to keep the commandment, to keep the law. So now now that we're not under the law per se, even though we are to keep the law, but we're not under the law. Well, we're supposed to wear it in our mind. And you do it by what? Walking in the spirit, so that you do not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So when you in the spirit, you know that wisdom will try you at every angle. And you're gonna think upon the commandment, when you come across certain situations in your life to refrain from going off. I don't need my fringes to remind me that it's not right to sleep with another man's wife, or to blaspheme the name of the Lord, or to take the name of the Lord in vain. I don't need the fringes for that, to keep the Sabbath day holy. In the land of our captivity, we're remembering ourselves. So we're remembering his holy commandments. But you're not saved utterly by the law, because guess what? When you go to James, the second chapter, this is what it say. James 2 and verse 10, it says, for whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also, do not kill. For if thou commit no adultery, yet if thou kill, thou art become a transgressor of the law. So speak ye, and so do, as they that shall be judged by the law of liberty. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. So in other words, if you hold yourself to that degree of the law, the Lord's going to hold you to it. And if you don't show mercy in certain areas, guess what? You won't be shown any mercy. That's why Yahweh Shai said, judge not lest you be judged, right? For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged, and with what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you again. So that's why we don't play with that. Now, do we say to do away with the law? We don't keep the law. No, we ain't Christians. We know that we're supposed to keep his commandments. If we love him, keep his commandments, but we under grace, because we fall short. So the Lord knew we were going to need that grace. And if you telling me that you're without sin and you don't need grace, then guess what? Yahweh Shai, when he came on the cross, that pretty much was in vain. Let's go to Galatians 2 and 21. This is Galatians 2 and 21. It says, I do not frustrate the grace of the Most High, for if righteousness can't come by the law, then Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is dead in vain. There would be no need for him to have came down if you already got it. All right, but you ain't got it, man. All right, what moles? I mean, we're not even in our own land, and even when we was in our own land, we couldn't even keep the law. How much more in the land of our captivity? You're not sovereign. When you keep the Passover, I'm pretty sure your lamb isn't a 1-year-old male that was without blemish. You don't know what kind of lamb you're getting. You don't know what deity or idol, the people who killed it. You don't know what God they prayed to when they prayed over it. I mean, it's a lot of laws that I know for sure living in this setup, we're not keeping it. You're not stoning moles. And I used to say this years ago, like when I used to, deal with the ISUPK or the IUIC. If the fringes made you so righteous, and if the Lord, he demanded that, that's what constitutes your righteousness to him, which we all know that that's not, like, and that's why he said it in Romans the 10th chapter. They have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge, where they go to establish their own righteousness instead of submitting themselves to the righteousness of the Most High. Now, if you was to take some scissors and snip off every fringe for each law that you're not keeping, half your your fringes on your garment would be cut off. You'd have a garment with just only half of it is fringes. You think that would be acceptable to the Most High? According to what I read in James, the 2nd chapter, if you're guilty of one, you might as well cut all your fringes off. So we needed Yahweh Shai. This is Galatians 2:21 in the NLT. It says, "I do not treat the grace of the Most High as meaningless, for if keeping the law could make us right with the Most High, then there was no need for Hamashiach to die." Man. I do not set aside the grace of the Most High, for if righteousness could be gained through the law, Hamashiach died for nothing. And that's what you modern day Pharisees, wicked Pharisees, that's trying to set up your own righteousness. That's what you might as well say. Because apparently you keep the law perfectly. You keep it to a T. Remember what the scripture said, going back to the law. You got to hold yourself accountable. Deuteronomy 27:26. And it says, "Cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to do them, and all the people shall say, Amen." So, wear your fringes and think upon the law, but also you got to acknowledge this too, because this is in your law. Let's go back to the New Testament. Let's go to Galatians 3 and verse 10. And it says, "For as many as are the works of the law are under the curse, for it is written, Cursed is every one that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of the Most High. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith." Now, this same Paul who wrote this, he also said, "Do we make void the law? Do we make void the law through faith? God forbid we establish the law." But because we're sold under sin, we're going to keep the law of a Mashiach in our mind, in our hearts. But with our flesh, we serve the law of sin because sin dwells within us. And that's why the Lord, when he comes back, because he already condemned sin in the flesh and gotten the victory over death. So when he returns, we're going to be changed out of these bodies that are subject to sin. All right. It says that uh, corruption shall put off slack. I'm butchering. Let me go to it. And this is part of our redemption, man. This is what we're waiting for. We have the grace, all right, that suffices, all right, and it keeps us until we actually get that renewal. 1 Corinthians 15. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 15 and 52, it says, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass that the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Right? O death, where's thy sting? O grave, where's thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. See that? And this is what we're waiting upon. This is the day of our redemption. All right? And we're going to no longer be subject to sin anymore. So that means that we won't die. All right? Then you can boast all the day long. But right now, we're still in this flesh. So it doesn't matter if you got fringes or not. Are you doing what the Lord actually commanded us from the heart? Let's get that in Colossians. Colossians 3 and 23. In Colossians 3 and 22, it says, servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing the Most High, because you had dudes that wanted to be admired in front of men. All right. You know, you had the scribes and Pharisees, you know, they made a big thing out of, you know, being circumcised, even though, yeah, that's part of the covenant. You're supposed to get circumcised, but that was, you know, pretty much their standard of righteousness, man. But what good was that circumcision if you wasn't keeping all the law? Because once you broke the law, you became uncircumcised. You make your boast of the law through transgression of the law. You dishonoring the Most High, man. It says, but in singleness of heart, fearing the Most High, and whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that the Lord ye shall receive of the reward of the inheritance of ye, sir, for ye serve the Lord, Mashiach Yahushai. All right. So, you know, I don't know what these guys were trying to establish with this, but you know, you got dudes that's out there, you know, preaching Yahushai for contention and strife, and not of goodwill, as you can see, man. All right. But where we gonna see in that day,
Why you not wearing your fringes?
we 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 gonna see in that day, man. All right. Some of you dudes that's out there in that mindset, when the Lord do show up and he shows it, you know, he makes it known who his chosen is, who he was dealing with, and you're gonna be left there, you know, scratching your scalp, wondering why the Lord ain't taking you with him. You know, not everybody that said to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom, man. The Lord's gonna deny a lot of the guys. Depart from me, I never depart from me, he that work iniquity, I never knew thee. So anyway, I'm gonna just end off with that, man. I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Shai. Until the next lesson, Shalom.